Welcome back, Thick Readers. This is part 2 of the series Fluffy Minty Boy and His Dragon Daddy, called My Precious Mint by Random Fave Couples. Let's get started. Summary. The second-class outing trip to the mall was not his fault. It was Ojiro's and Hagakure's fault for assuming he was in trouble. He was perfectly fine being snuggled by a half-dragon while enjoying his cinnamon iced coffee. Story begins. Izuku Midoriya might have been quirkless, but he still inherited some of his father's sharper senses. Some examples include being drawn to fire and heat like a moth to a light. He always runs at a higher body temperature. If he's in a feral state or pure angry, like in his fight against Overhaul, his incisors grow to be fangs, and he can identify scents from real and fake. When Sato is busy making caramel treats, Izuku can tell when Bakugo is nearby because he has a spicier undertone smell. He can tell when Toga is imitating someone who he knows because her scent has a hint of iron and rust. So, during the second-class trip to the mall, when Izuku was left alone at the food court because everyone had already split up into groups and left to go shopping, he smelled a familiar scent. The scent was getting stronger, but the stress and tension that Izuku felt melted into the scent of smoked cinnamon and spices that reminded him of home. It reminds Izuku that he was allowed to feel safe with this scent, that nothing bad will ever happen to him again. He knew he was safe when a hot body was pressed against his back as gray smoke covered his vision. A little while after he took a sip of his cinnamon iced coffee, his body instinctively snuggled into the hard muscled chest as clawed fingers curled around his stomach, being careful not to tear his clothes, and lifted him off the chair like a little child. Izuku felt the remaining tension melt away as he was placed on a lap, and the strong arms now engulfed him into a hug as the snout buries itself in his hair with a deep breath. The familiar thump of a tail beating against the floor started to match the beatings of his heart. "Hello, Dad," Izuku whispered as he didn't want to break their little bubble. "I missed you." "Not as much as I missed you, my fluff mint." On the second floor, overlooking the food court, Hagakure and Ojiro watched in shock and horror because they have never seen Midoriya relax that much or that fast before. He looked so stress-free that they were reminded that their green-haired classmate was just as much a teenager as them. Then Midoriya just closed his eyes while the dragon man with dark green, almost black scales just picked him up and sat him on his lap and made the two students nervous. Ojiro's pride would not let him admit that he did almost scream in terror when he saw the snout bury into Midoriya's hair, as his first thought was, he's going to watch his friend get eaten alive. His friend, who was left alone again at the mall where he was already attacked, was going to accept his death of being eaten with a resigned look on his face. "Ojiro, I don't know how to feel about this. I'm mad at everyone, especially his main friend group, because we left him alone, so this is happening. But I don't want to falsely accuse that dragon man because he looks like a villain," Hagakure said. Midoriya has always been good about his situational awareness, and even looking out for villains, so to see him at peace makes this difficult. He could have also been practicing his acting skills, so he won't cause an uproar like last time. Ugh, last time sucked because he felt so bad for ruining our shopping trip when he was the one held hostage because he was left alone, Hagakure said as she pulled on her hair. "I still think we should inform Aizawa-sensei and Yamada-sensei," Ojiro said. "They will be able to handle this situation better than us." "What if Midoriya hates us?" Hagakure said as she started to bite her already non-existent nails. She let out a small eep as the dragon man's green eyes looked at her directly, the pupils narrowing into slits. "I think he's looking at me directly. I think he can see." "I'm gonna make that call now," Ojiro said. "Huh, that's weird. What?" "Midoriya sent me a text," Ojiro said, and then looked at his friend. "Are you biting your nails until the fingers start bleeding again, Toru?" Izuku opened his eyes as two of his teachers approached the table. He felt his father tense behind him as his tail coiled. Aizawa looked like he was getting ready to retire just from looking at him, while Yamada was bouncing from foot to foot. "Aizawa-sensei, Yamada-sensei, hi. It was not my intention to be by myself, but everyone already had a group and went off in a direction by the time I received my coffee," Izuku said. "However, I'm not causing any problems." Aizawa raised an eyebrow while the mysterious dragon man let out a snort, smoke gliding in front of them as the man tried to burrow his face more into the green hair. His eyes still watched the two teachers with suspicion, eyes that seemed to try and dissect the two adults. "That may be the case, but who exactly is the adult behind you? According to two of your classmates, you just let him pick you up and place you on his lap," Aizawa said. I don't mean anything bad, Yamada said, raising his hands by his head. His own green eyes narrowed as the man's pupils became slits at the two pro heroes. We don't want anything bad to happen to the green bean. His class will be sad. You dig? No, I do not dig. And how dare you? Do you live under a rock? How could you call my precious Izuku a disgusting thing like a green bean? The man said as he removed his head from Izuku's hair. Aizawa and Yamada both tensed up as the fire started to escape from the corners of the man's mouth. The fire dissipated as soon as it escaped, so the man wasn't trying to hurt Izuku, but the threat was present. The man's fingers moved to Izuku's hair as they tangled themselves into the curls. Izuku is a mint. He is my fluffy, minty boy, my precious mint. He is so much better than a pathetic, disgusting green bean, the man said, continuing his rant. Then he sneered at the voice hero. You need to redefine your taste buds, sir. Did you just yell at me for calling the little listener a nickname? Yamada said in a dazed tone as his glasses fell to the bottom of his nose. Get better nicknames, the man said as he buried his snout back into Izuku's hair. Izuku chuckled. Dad, please be nice to my teachers. They do mean well, and my class seems to be a magnet for trouble, especially me, he said. The man hummed in response. Aizawa-sensei, Yamada-sensei, this is my dad, Hisashi Midoriya. Dad, these are two of my teachers. Aizawa-sensei is my homeroom teacher, and Yamada-sensei is my English teacher, Izuku said. English teacher? Why are you taking English when you're already fluent in it? Izuku's dad said. Izuku shrugged. Never had the chance to ask if I could test out of it, Izuku said. His father sighed. We will get that sorted out later. Anyway, I would love to talk to you two more, but I'm a newly retired hero who just came home from a 5-year-long undercover mission that dealt with child trafficking. I just want to cuddle my precious fluff mint right now to keep myself grounded that yes, my son is safe and alive. That while I was busy being a hero to other children, that I wasn't failing as a father or a hero to one child that matters the most to me. Hisashi said. You'll get a better introduction come Monday, when I'm introduced as a security guard for UA. The two teachers looked at each other before they looked back at the father and son. I have questions, Aizawa said, especially concerning Problem Child's quirk. Monday, during the meeting, you may ask them, Hisashi said. All Might would love to answer any questions you might have, and if he doesn't, then I will. All Might said I couldn't tell anyone, but All Might has his support system, and I trust my dad with everything. He knows when I'm lying, and he even helped me learn how to analyze quirks when I was younger to help me achieve my dream of being a hero. Aizawa-san, Hisashi said, with your help, I plan on helping Izuku learn to control his quirk better. The only thing I request from Izuku is my minty cuddles. Aizawa smirked. I have a feeling that we are going to get along, Midoriya-san. Your hero persona will be introduced Monday as well, correct? Yamada and Izuku just watched as the two stared at each other. Of course, Aizawa-san, he said. It wouldn't be UA if a staff member wasn't a pro hero there. The end. And that was part 2 of the series Fluffy Minty Boy and His Dragon Daddy, called My Precious Mint, once again, by Random Fave Couples. I really enjoyed this one, and I hope that you'll join me again for part 3.